Hello, hello.
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 Uh, yes, I am recording. Thank you. Thank you. I try not to make the same mistake too many times, so thank you for that. Okay,
I just had that.
thank you. There's always a smart ass in every group, isn't there?
Yep.
Okay, so here's the quick agenda for today. We're going to start with intros, quick intros. And when you're introducing yourself, talk about fears and challenges, because I think we're still not getting, through with fears and challenges. Then we're going to continue on with a case study we started last week with the HVAC company. And yes, there is a plot twist, so be ready for that. And we, as I mentioned on the email, we have I've been testing a strategy for the shy people in the group. And oh, Jocelyn is here. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean that you were shy. Um,
You didn't
sorry, I'm
lie.
sticking my foot in my mouth again. Uh, so I'll go through that strategy and I'll show you the results because I think if we use that strategy to get people comfortable with TikTok, and I believe it's a real strategy, and if you follow this strategy, you'll get at least 10,000 followers a month. So start with this strategy and then gradually work towards posting your own stuff. Okay. So you won't
Okay.
show your face, you won't do anything like that. So so I think everyone should embrace this and let's get to at least 10,000 followers. And next week we're going to talk about customer service. So if we have some time, I'm going to talk about, a customer service issue that I'm personally going through now, and I can't believe it's happening. But we're going to discuss customer service case studies next week. And we're going to do jokes at the end. Hopefully that'll give you guys enough time to loosen up and prepare a joke, because as I keep saying, communication is one of the most important factors in designing a business or growing a business. Because if you can't communicate your ideas to your employees, and if your employees can't communicate your vision to your clients, then you're not going to grow as fast as you should. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Um, and Arturo, you have a Zoom user again. How come do you click save?
No, I don't know. I don't. Maybe I don't have a Zoom account or something.
Yeah, maybe you have a ghost in your machine that keeps changing it back. Okay, so let's start with introductions. Who wants to go first?
Well, I'm not muted, so I'm Brian. I'm from uh western part of Oregon, right around the Eugene area, and been in construction for 18 years and looking to grow this current business and get something else started that I can do uh as well. So have multiple streams of income. My biggest fear right now, and it's something that I have to get through, is just letting go and giving responsibility to others to do. So that's one thing. But my biggest trouble right now is finding employees. So trying to get an employee is, I've set up a couple interviews, and whenever you set them up, then they don't show up or give you no call back or anything like that. So that's my biggest problem right now that I'm having.
Employees, okay. I posted a video about an hour ago, actually,
Okay.
looking for general contractors, and I already have 2 or 3 messages. Um, so we should do a video together. And Brian,
Okay.
I've asked you to schedule a call so we can talk about
Yep.
strategies for
Yes.
to get your business to the next level.
Yep.
And we
Which I
should
need
do a
to.
video to help you find employees. So
Okay.
if we do a video together, I post it on my channel, you post it on your channel, and you
Mhm.
should be able to get a lot more exposure that way.
Okay. Sounds good.
Employees, okay.
Yep.
Okay, who's next?
I'll go next. Hey everybody, my name's Arturo. Manage and operate a painting business, a family painting business. This week, kind of focusing on doing residential. We've been pretty much only commercial, and we just hired a marketing agency to run Facebook and Instagram ads for the next 6 months. And they're going to be helping us out with the marketing side. And this next week, while we're onboarding, I'm going to be basically training our staff how to make the switch from running commercial jobs to doing residential stuff. And then I'll be, kind of also kind of on the fly learning residential repaint sales and things like that.
Okay. So is that your biggest fear or challenge, is dealing with marketing? Trying to make marketing work, or what is it?
My biggest fear right now is just not exactly marketing. The company we hired is actually, I have a pretty good I have a lot of faith in them. Their presentation was really good. They're a pretty big company as far as like marketing goes for painting companies. The fear I have now is, now that it's in the balls on our court, is just sales and then fulfillment, like production wise and operation wise, because this is like basically new to us, like new waters. And at the scale at which they're going to be giving us generating leads for us, it's going to be a pretty it's going to be a lot of work coming in,
Okay.
a lot of leads.
What I usually see, especially from contractors, is they focus on one thing at a time. And we've talked about this many times before. They focus on marketing. Then they get a whole bunch of marketing. Then they get clients. They sign, they hire salespeople. They start writing contracts. Then they say, holy shit, we don't have people to do these jobs, right? Then you start delaying the jobs. They start getting negative reviews. Then the following year, they say, well, I learned my lesson. Now I'm going to start with employees. Then I'm going to start with employees. Then, then I'll do the marketing, right? You can't do one thing at a time. It doesn't work. You got to do 30 things at a time. And while you're doing the marketing, you really should be hiring employees and training them. So when the work does come in, you have trained crews ready to go. Okay. So, I mean, we can talk about that. But did anybody else cringe when Arturo mentioned he's going to be spending a shit ton of money on pay-per-click campaigns? Was I the only one cringing at that? Okay. So I was the only one. Okay. Because,
No, I did too. I did too. I was just muted. Sorry.
okay.
Because I mean, I've been reading and listening to Gary Vee's newest book, Day Trading Attention. I mean, and shoot, I've done 2 videos now on TikTok that have gotten over, the one in one day had almost 800 views.
Okay. Perfect.
Which and I mean, that was just giving people tips on how to take care of their shower. That's all it was. It was a 1-minute video. That was it.
Perfect.
I'm just going to
So-
jump in here, Brian. Can I?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just randomly. Can you share that video with us, or give us the link to your, if you don't mind?
Yeah, no, I'll in the chat here, I'll put my TikTok video or name that you can find me under, and do it from there. No, I would appreciate it. Yes.
Okay.
So
So Arturo, I hope you're understanding what Brian and I are trying to tell you. When you start putting your company on crack cocaine, Okay, and pay-per-click campaigns are crack cocaine. And as I've said many times before, I manage a group with 337,000 business owners who all put their companies on crack cocaine. Then they wonder, well, why can't I get it out? It was only temporary. I was only going to do this, or I was only going to work with my hands for a little bit. Then they get stuck, right? Same thing with pay-per-click campaigns. I really, really dislike the idea of any company doing, a pay-per-click campaign. And we generally use it to launch a company because you want to do 10 different strategies. Pay-per-click being number 11, it's not even in the top 10. It's number 11, but you need to have all that exposure when you're launching a company. And that's really the only time I'm comfortable doing pay-per-click campaigns for 3 months, let's say. There's a start date and an end date. By that time, the trusted circles, the stepping stone relationships, social media, everything else should be working by that time. And that's how you bring in, not only profitable clients, but also quality employees, right? And when you start a Facebook group to house these people, then that becomes the waiting list of people that want to work for you. Okay, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Facebook is a great place to to house them until you're ready, and then you say, okay, I need a painter next week. I want someone with commercial experience, residential experience. It has to have a vehicle, and that you post it within your group. Then you have 3 or 4 people say, yeah, I've been waiting for this opportunity. Here is the work that I've done, and so on. So they keep following you, waiting for the opportunity. The next opportunity comes up. And that's why they keep following the group. Okay. So I really want to encourage you to start doing some videos. If you want me to help you, or this strategy that I'm going to talk about, if you are that shy, use this strategy. It will get you 10,000 clients over the next 2 months. Okay. So, okay. So let's continue with introductions. Who's next?
I'll go next. My name is Jocelyn. I'm currently trying to start a construction company, painting to be precise. But another thing I've been currently looking at is AI automation and implementing AI strategies to businesses. So it's just something I've been researching and looking at now. So hopefully I can somehow use that and implement that into my painting business once I begin. So that's something I'm looking at. Fears. Or again, it doesn't change much, but just kind of like the fire dying. I mean, when you're trying to launch a business, you have to kind of keep the flames going and stay motivated. And when you don't necessarily have that capital to begin, you see yourself easily getting unmotivated. So just to keep that flame going and keep myself motivated to launch, I would say it's sort of a fear, but yeah. Aside from that, that's all.
Okay. Brian,
sorry, Leo. I just had a quick question. So, because I know you mentioned just previously, so you don't believe in, if a company is launching, do you believe then that they can hire a marketing agency? That's
yes, for a set period of time, like 3 months before you launch.
Okay.
Okay, 3 months before you launch. Any more than that, then you're on crack cocaine. You're putting your company on crack cocaine.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm choosing my words wisely. So I truly believe that, because pay-per-click campaign should be the last resort. And it's the most expensive way to attract clientele. Right. And Arturo, if you don't know your cost per lead yet, I wouldn't have signed a contract with them. And make sure you have an out, a performance clause. I expect 100 leads per month, and so on. And it has to be quality leads. And they're going to use the excuse, well, I don't know how well your people can close, right? So they're going to use excuses. So and it's a great out for them. So, and hopefully you talk to some of the previous clients who use that company. Okay, I was gonna say something for you, Jocelyn. Yeah, how do you stay motivated? We know we're gonna have bad days, right? We know we're going to have bad days. How do we make sure that we don't get depressed for more than 10 minutes? Right? What's the strategy? We talked about this strategy before, and someone keeps trying to log in and disappearing. So we know we're going to have bad days. So how do we deal with that? How do we deal with a future bad day?
For me, individually, I'm just trying to stay in that mindset of like remembering why I wanted to start this to begin with, and why I'm doing this. So it's just always kind of reassuring myself and changing that negative mindset to like a positive one. So that's just what I've been doing. That's the strategy that I've been implementing, just reminded myself why I wanted to get started to begin with. What's my drive? So that keeps me going each day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me give you a strategy that works for me, because I get depressed. I suffer from depression.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Well, it is what it is.
Mhm.
So how I deal with depression or challenges or anything like that is because I know it's going to happen. So I create a video. I create a video when I'm having a good day. And I'm saying, this is your buddy Leo. This is a video that I create for me, right? For me to watch when I'm having a bad day.
Mhm.
And that's why I want to shorten, instead of the bad day becoming a bad week, I want to have, a bad 10 minutes, then move on with it. I want to get over myself and move on, right? So I talk to myself and I say, okay, you're currently having a bad day. This is your buddy Leo. You're currently having a bad day. Remember this feeling you have right now. Plant this feeling, this euphoria feeling that you have right now about the success you've had. Think about all the successes you've had in the past and name them. Okay, you did this, you did this, you did this, you did this, you did this. Okay, your goal is to do this, 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 and this, right?
Okay.
So when you're watching this video and you're looking at yourself in the mirror, and it's a great way to get yourself out of that circumstance, because a lot of times we forget, right? We forget we've had challenges. We forget we've had a lot of victories in the past, right? So it's reminding ourselves of those victories and future victories you're going to accomplish. So create that video.
Okay.
Okay. And that applies to everyone. Create that video, talking to yourself. And it's the same video that, if you were to travel back in time, what would you tell yourself? That type of video, except it's only, a month away or something. Okay. Who's next? Introductions?
I'll go next. My name is Michelle Housley. I've attended one of these sessions before. I own a e-learning / publishing company. So we work as instructional designers. So usually our customers are small to medium businesses or nonprofits, organizations. And so we develop the online training that's accessible on their phone and number one, effective. So sort of our pitch is get out of the boring PowerPoints in the conference room and actually learn something. So we deal with any kind of topic. We've dealt with oil and gas to Lululemon, a clothing company, and universities. I've owned this company now for over 10 years, and we've been lucky enough, which has been a pro and a con, not to spend any money on marketing up until this point. So everything was word of mouth. And then we've kind of, I guess, we've lost a major client also that was sort of always renewing, and it's made a big impact on us. And so we need to do some marketing and some outreach so nobody knows about us. So I kind of feel like I'm a startup again, because I'm doing all the things that we never did in the first place. We were lucky to just get a contract and away we go, and learned a lot of stuff as far as business and taxes and all that kind of stuff. I don't come from a business background. But as I said, we're starting from scratch. So that's why I was asking Brian about your video. I know it's a useless video on TikTok. I mostly just did it I probably will end up deleting it and restarting again. But I just kind of wanted to even just get the pressure out of putting my face on TikTok. And it got 200 views, and it's nothing spectacular by any means. It really sucks. But I can see, and obviously everybody knows about the value of social media and stuff. So I know that we need to keep going there. Now I like what Leo said about 3 months before you're kind of like, so I feel like we're launching really. We got a grant. It's very easy to get. So we got a digital marketing grant through the Canadian government. It's $3,000, not a lot, but we budgeted these people basically $1,000 a month. I did not ask about any of this performance clause. I did not ask about previous clients. So that's something I'm going to do before I sign anything. And my fear, I guess my fear is just that it won't take. I don't know why. Like we have I could do a laundry list of, I think, really great projects that I can show customers and clients and stuff. I guess it's just, I haven't had such a lull in my business like this. And so, I'm excited to do the marketing and things, but yeah, I'm just fearful that, I don't know. Logically, I feel like obviously everybody needs e-learning. The whole world is out there that we could serve. But yeah, it's a fear at the back of my head that, whatever, $3,000 is not even our money, but just that I'm here 3 months from now and we didn't get a lead for whatever reason, or even worse, what if we get a lead and then we drop it? But that's part of life, I guess. So.
Okay. How many income streams would you say you have, Michelle?
Yeah, I'd say 2. So, the e-learning is very, like I said, corporate-y kind of thing, maybe small organizations, nonprofit. And then we have, when I said publisher, that is I'm here in Canada. And so we've done a lot of work with Indigenous communities, which is great. They pay well and all that kind of stuff. Very interesting work. I am finding now that I think we have in the past, we hit a gem, sort of a rare gem kind of person. I'm finding it very hard to find other Indigenous communities that want to work. I'll just be blunt, that want to work with a non-Indigenous person. And that might be the right decision for them. So I'm not really, but at the same time, factually, we're having a hard time finding another client like that.
Okay. Would it make sense to hire a salesperson who is Indigenous to be the face of the company for them? I mean, they're performance based. They don't sell. They don't eat. So I'm wondering. So you have 2 different income streams. I would suggest a few more income streams.
Well, we do have I didn't want to get too in the weeds. We do have a third. So somewhat. We have developed on our own or a mixture of varieties of how we develop these online courses, but we do have standalone courses that are ready to go, like off the shelf. Here's the site, buy them. They're all different sort of models. Some are subscription models, some are pay one time. That's what you get.
Yeah.
So that's sort of I feel a separate income stream because we're not creating. Either you want it or you don't want it, kind of thing.
One thing that I'm really passionate about is turning kids into entrepreneurs. Parents spend a lot of money on their kids, soccer camp, they want to turn into professional athletes. But I thought, why not teach your 7-year-old, your 8 to 14-year-old, how to be an entrepreneur? Teach them, to do sales on eBay, sell their used dolls and comic books and stuff like that. Because I think there's an income stream there, and it's repeatable, right? You create a video course, and you just rinse and repeat, right?
Yeah.
So and this is where I think you need 10 income streams, and you have marketing strategies for each 10 independent of each other. So the mothers that come to you for entrepreneurial training for their 7-year-old only knows you as that, right?
Mhm.
So, okay, we can
Can I
have,
ask a quick question there? Something
Sure.
that I've been wondering about. So if you do that, which I think is the right thing, do you then make, I know not everything is TikTok, but let's pick that for an example. Would you make you would make different TikTok accounts, right? For,
that's a question that everybody asks, and the answer that I always give is Joe Rogan has 100 different subjects on one
Yeah.
account.
yeah,
One account. But you would use different hashtags
yeah,
and different categories within your TikTok account. Like my TikTok account, I have wealth strategies, I have small business strategies, I have strategies for painters, and so on. So I have at least 20 different strategies. So I would suggest you do the same. Then once you've created credibility with them, oh, they do a lot of different things. By that time, they already know you, they've started the conversation, it doesn't matter, right? The point
Mhm.
is start the conversation, right?
I was gonna
and these
say,
are
I see,
related enough that
sorry,
it's not
sorry,
weird that
Michelle.
I'm, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I see a lot of like like just focusing on TikTok first. I see a lot of TikTok pages where they're providing like, they're a company that is kind of in your niche, where they're providing learning tips for kids. And I have a daughter, so sometimes I'm interested in all these things. And I find what works is like when they speak about the results, like I'm not quite sure about, like, let's say you have a child on the channel explaining what they learned. Like as a mother, I'm intrigued by that because I'm like, you always want your child at the forefront, like they're advanced and they're learning. So people pick that up like easy cake. So maybe like consistently, weekly, if you're focusing on wealth, I find it could be on one page. And this is what this video is focused on. So we taught so and so at this age how to set up a lemonade stand. What she learned aside from setting up a lemonade stand is leadership. Like for me, my daughter, if she learned that at her age, I'll be stoked. So I do see pages. It's just a little hint. I see pages like that a lot. So
Yeah.
Mhm,
Speaking of
mhm.
lemonade stands, I posted a video, and the question was, do we have to start with lemonade stands? Then I posted a video of 3 kids, 8 to 14 probably, going door to door selling $500,000 boats. Okay. And it was posted by the homeowner. And I thought, gee, what a great idea, right? Of course, it didn't show the parent probably at, off camera. But imagine who these parents are encouraging these kids to go door knocking to sell $500,000 boats. If you didn't see that video, please watch it. Because, if you have a child, I have nieces and I encourage them to, to do these eBay stores and everything. I want them to be entrepreneurs. I want them to be in control of their future. Okay. So we can talk more about that later. Anyone else for introductions? Jeremy?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Jeremy here. Met most of you all last week. I'm here in Houston, Texas. Retired military, currently working for the government, but looking at getting entrepreneurship as well, to kind of free up my time, because that's the one thing that's invaluable. So looking at some other options, and right now my biggest fear is picking the right one. And getting started. So I actually invited one of my good friends on the line, Mr. Hawkins. So he's visiting as well. But that's my biggest fear: picking the right one and not wasting time, effort, or energy in something that won't work, and that I don't enjoy doing.
Okay. Enjoy doing. Why do you need to enjoy doing it?
To have to stay motivated, to have some drive.
Okay.
I think it maybe because of being in the military for 20 years, not necessarily doing something I didn't want to do. Now that I'm done, I would like to do something that I enjoy doing every day. So it may just be a personal thing, more than a requirement to to create that wealth.
Okay. I enjoy delegating. So I
Yeah.
know it's a different perspective. Everybody, wants to work with their hands. Everyone wants to desperately turn their business into a job. And I think that's the worst thing you can do. I own shares in 19 different companies. I don't give a crap about them. I really don't. Of course, I'm exaggerating. I don't care. It's the employees that give a crap about, they're passionate about what they do. My partners, care about what they do. Business owners, your job is to delegate. Your job is to create the vision. Your job is to create the business blueprint. Your job is to sit on the board to make sure everyone is doing what they're supposed to be doing. You manage but with the reporting they give you. Okay. And a great example, I've used this before, is one of my clients runs a $5 million painting business. He travels the world, usually to 38 countries, surfing and playing beach volleyball while his companies work for him. He doesn't want to grow past 5 million. He's comfortable. He makes a shit ton of money. And, that's his business. The business works for him. And he uses stepping stone relationships, which means he uses real estate agents as their salespeople. So he just needs to manage 30 or 40 relationships, or his salespeople need to manage 30 or 40 relationships with these real estate agents, and they bring in the business, right? So when you simplify a business and you delegate and you empower people and you recognize people, you don't need to turn it into a job. Anyone else for introductions? Going once, going twice. Let's go to the next item. About case studies and customer service. As most of you know, I used to do a lot of flying around. I used to average 5 flights a week. And, I really enjoyed that, flying all over the place and meeting new business owners and employees and so on. And, usually I'm on a flight at 7 a.m. because, you want to get there, before it's lunchtime and so on. So I'm on this flight, and because I had a lot of points, every once in a while I got to upgrade it to business class. Never bought business class, but 1/3 to half the time I'm upgraded to business class. So I'm in business class. So any day that starts with you sitting in business class is a good day. So I'm already having a good time. So I sit down, you board first, you sit down, you relax, you have a coffee, and the stewardess comes around and says, what can I get you? And I said, coffee, please. She says, we're just brewing a fresh pot. Can you give me 5 minutes and I'll be right with you? So I said, sure. The captain comes on and says, this is Captain so-and-so. We have a great day, beautiful sunshine, clear skies. We should, fly there. And by this time, while he's doing the announcements, the stewardess is coming with coffee, and she's pouring coffee for me. And he continues with his announcement, and he says, the beautiful sky, will land on time and no turbulence. It's going to be a perfect flight. And I'll point out the interesting landmarks as we land. And then he says, I'm really tired, and I hate these morning flights, and I would love nothing more than a blowjob and a cup of coffee, right? Not knowing the microphone's still on, the stewardess drops the coffee on my table and runs towards the cockpit. And I said, wait, you forgot the coffee. Okay. Yes, I lied to you. We're starting with jokes. Coffee and...
Yes.
Yes.
Got
okay.
it.
Sorry, ladies. Okay, who else wants to tell a joke? As I said, one of the biggest parts in running a business is communication. All of you know how to communicate, but you'd be surprised how many times someone tries to present a business idea and rambles on for 5-10 minutes and can't get his ideas across. Anyone else like to tell a joke? Ryan?
Well, okay. I pulled up a dad joke here. So my neighbor wanted to give me a new roof for free. He said it's on the house.
Okay. Anyone else? I will take a knock knock joke. Those of you with kids, come on, you know more jokes than anyone else.
Okay, it's Wednesday, so corny joke will do. Thinking of one of the many corny jokes I've heard. Oh, okay. So what lights up a soccer stadium? You guys probably heard this before. A soccer match.
Soccer match. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Arturo, you've got a joke in you. I know it.
I got nothing.
No? Okay. Anyone else? Jeremy, Michelle?
Yeah, I know two jokes off by heart and they're both kind of inappropriate.
Okay. More than mine?
Yeah. I think they're funny though.
Okay. Well, they're funny. You know, it's communication. It's for business purposes. So go ahead.
Okay, this creepy old man's walking into the woods with a little kid, and the little kid, it's really inappropriate. And the little kid goes, oh, it's scary in here. And the old man goes, yeah, how do you think I feel? I gotta walk out of here alone.
Ooh, yeah, it's dark. It's dark.
It's dark.
It's dark. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Okay, let's jump to the case study. For the people that weren't here last week, we're talking about an HVAC case study where an employee punched a hole in the drywall, pretty close to a pregnant lady, and a lot of commotion. You're going to be in my shoes because I was in the office when this is happening, and you know, I'm in a meeting with the owner of the business at the back office in the boardroom, which is on the mezzanine level at the back of the unit. Then I hear all this commotion and yelling and screaming and banging doors and stuff. So I, you know, dropped everything, ran down, thinking that the partner, the owner, was following me. So I'm, you know, running towards the front office, and I'm saying, "What's going on?" People are, you know, in the warehouse and running towards the warehouse. And I said, "What's going on?" And they said, I think he said, he punched someone or something like that. So miscommunication. What? Who punched who? So I run to the office, 3 ladies crying. The pregnant lady crying. And she is the one with the hole behind her. Not that close, within 5 feet of her. He was not trying to hit her and he missed and he hit the wall. It wasn't that. He turned around, he was frustrated, it looked like, and he punched the drywall. So the question is, you are the owner of this business. Take it from here. What do you do?
Well, from last, am I on? Yeah, from last week, he also said that the pregnant lady was his wife.
The owner's wife, yes.
Yes.
And
So
then we found
so was
out later on, this is the second time it's happened.
exactly. So, but he's also the star performer. He can do 3 times as much as what any other installer does. So we have this conundrum: great installer, but bad temper. Whenever he has to work around other people, or things don't go the way that he thinks, the way that they should. But yeah, some of that also could have been relieved by the guy ordering the stuff, saying, "Hey, you know, this didn't come in, or I forgot to order it," and now he's actually taking his frustrations out on the wall because this other guy didn't do his job.
Yeah.
So
Try not to get too far ahead of me. You're
yeah, I
walking
mean,
into the office. What's
yeah, but
your
you said this
instinct?
guy's already gone. Yeah, I want to take care of the girls. You know, try to find out more of what's going on. Take care, make sure she's okay for sure. I mean, she is pregnant, so we got to make sure that she is good. I don't know. Is it a month? Is she in her 9th month? And she,
Seventh,
or we,
7th month.
so yeah. So, I mean, there's all that stuff, but you want to take care of the ones that are there, and then let's address him afterwards. That's what at least I would do. Let's take care of those that are there right now and get them calmed down so that way they can focus on their work for the rest of the day.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else that wasn't here last week? Gary? Jeremy, Michelle, what are your thoughts? Because my instinct, when I walked through that door, my instinct was to call the police. Because at this point, I really didn't know what was going on. Are we being robbed? What happened here? Right? My first instinct was to call the police. What would be your first instinct as you walk through this door?
So I used to be a junior high teacher, and so I would take the same, I would separate. I don't know. I feel like there's something to getting out of that, away from the wall that got punched, and staring at that and crying at that. So I don't know. My first thing is to take the ladies into maybe a safe part of the office or whatever, have them sit down, get them some water. Then I'd get the guy in the other part of the office alone, like not, but just let's cool it down here. I would probably ask them to sit, relax, calm down, all of that kind of stuff for 15 minutes. And then
Okay. So
I'd
you
go back in and get stories. What happened? What happened?
So you were much calmer than I was. Okay. My first instinct was to call the police because he drove away. Like I saw wheels screeching away.
Oh,
With
he
a-
left the scene.
He left the scene with
Oh.
a company truck, by the way, but he left the scene. Okay.
That
Jeremy,
guy's gotta
what
go.
are your thoughts? Sorry, Michelle, I missed
I
that.
feel like that guy's gotta go.
Okay. Oh, and by the way, I posted this on a Facebook group, and I was very proud of the fact that I was looking for advice, and we had 800 comments on this, and at that point, that was a major amount of comments. Okay, Jeremy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mentioned last week to first address the young the pregnant lady. So handle the personnel that were there. I didn't know that he drove off in the company vehicle. So with that being said, once I address them, my next move would be to is he a supervisor or am I his supervisor?
You are
Or-
the owner. You are the owner of this business.
Okay, so I would contact his supervisor to have him reach out to him to speak with both of them.
In this case, it's you. There's only 40 employees, and all the employees report directly to the owner. There's no middle management here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I would after I made sure the employees inside were good, I would go into my office and call him directly.
Okay. All right,
and
let
for-
me give you a little more information. As you start investigating, or as I start investigating, because I didn't know this had happened previously. So then I find out this has happened before, right? He didn't punch a hole in the drywall before, but he didn't slam doors and he threw stuff around and he was violent, right? So, and I was concerned about this violence. And I didn't know, in the construction space, this is an HVAC company, heating and air conditioning company. They install heating furnaces, hot water tanks, air conditioners, and so on to new homes. So I found out he had done this before, and that just kind of cemented the idea in my head, hey, this guy has to go, right? Yes, he does 3 times the production that the next high-level employee does. Like he'll install 3 furnaces a day. The other employees install 1 furnace every 2 days, some every 3 days, right? So he does do the production, and he has one helper. so I posted this on the Facebook group that I was managing, 800 comments. 99% of the comments said, Leo, you can't afford this. The liability is outrageous. You know, if he goes off the handle in a client's home, well, we don't do clients' home. I corrected them on that. Or, you know, he becomes violent. The liability on the company side is outrageous. You can't afford that, right? Here's the plot twist. Unbeknownst to the business owner, or unbeknownst to me, the broker, the error in emissions insurance broker, was following the group. Okay, and now he's calling the owner and said, "What you posted, is that real?" And he said, "Well, yeah." And he says, "Well, you need to fire this guy because, you know, if you don't fire this guy, I'm going to give you 12 hours to fire this guy. If you don't, we're dropping you as a client. You no longer have insurance, right? So you have to make a decision." And I go, okay, that puts a whole new spin on things. So now that you had a call with your broker and he tells you, you know, you got to do this, how do you feel? What's your next step?
Get a new broker.
Okay, that's definitely one option, yes. Anyone else?
I mean, if you can't beat the insurance rates, though, I mean, you got to do with the broker, you know, since you need insurance to work. So, I mean, your option is to get rid of him, unfortunately.
And there
So-
aren't too many companies that actually at that point that have error in emissions insurance.
Mhm.
So you may have one other broker, and if the other broker finds out what happened here, right?
Yep.
So,
I would still stick with my guns and get rid of them because again, the liability and the risk that you take from all other areas is not worth the 3 HVACs that he's putting in a day. I mean, you never know, the person that may replace him may be of the same quality or better.
Yeah.
So just the all of the negative variables that's going to come with keeping him is just not worth retaining the individual.
okay. Now that you know this, would you call an all hands meeting? Or would you do this, would you make this decision on your own?
If I don't have like a board or like partners or anything, it'd just be myself.
Okay. But even if you're alone, even if you own 100% of the shares, right? Even if you don't have the advantage of a management consultant in the room at the time, and this happened over a 2 or 3 day period. So, and keep in mind, future conversations is going to be about culture. How do you design a company culture? What's the best way to design a company culture? You empower your employees by bringing them on board with the decision-making process. Every decision should be bounced off your employees. That's how you build great company culture. They need to know they're part of something great, something bigger than themselves. Okay, so we did call an all hands meeting. We called an emergency all hands meeting for that afternoon. And now we're asking the question. We're not telling them, we're asking them, what should we do? And we got feedback. You got to fire them. You can't fire them. So we got a lot of information from the employees. And we got a lot of information from the Facebook group as well, right? And this is why, I believe in this group, because this group is going to be your future sounding board. Because even though you may have a clear direction in your head, what you want to do, when you start bouncing it off other people or other groups or your employees, you might see things from a different perspective that you can't see it just by being in your own head. Does that make sense? So by calling an all hands meeting, by doing the Facebook group, and really being authentic with the employees and say, hey, we're lost here. Help us out here. What should we do? You are the owner of this company. What would you do? What should we do? And believe it or not, this was a massively empowering thing to create that company culture. We turned a huge negative into a huge positive by going to the employees and say, hey, we're lost. You know, this doesn't happen. This never happens. And they said, well, no, it's happened before, right? So I was corrected. So using the negative and turning that negative into a positive and using that positive to create a great company culture is something that we used, and it was hugely successful in this case. Okay. So do you want me to tell you the outcome, or should we carry on this conversation on next week? What do you guys want?
I want to know what you did. Did you fire him or not?
Anybody else? You want to know, or should we carry on this conversation? Because don't forget, if you don't deal with case studies, if you don't, stress test partnerships or stress test your business blueprint, right? And this is part of stress testing your mindset and your decision-making ability. So if you want, I can tell you, or we can carry on that conversation. So we have one vote to finalize this conversation. So who else?
Yeah, I'm with Brian. I'm invested. I don't know if you fired him. Like,
Okay. All right. No, we didn't fire him. No, we didn't fire him. And I'll tell you why. Because I wanted to send a clear message to the employees saying, hey, we've got your back. We know you're going to screw up. We screw up all the time. Just because you screw up once or twice in this case, it doesn't mean we're going to throw you out with the garbage. We're not going to do that. We are investing in you, all of you. And if you have a drug problem, if you have a drinking problem, if you have depression issues, if you have marital issues, if you're going through a divorce, if you're having a kid or whatever it is, we've got your back. Okay? We've got your back. And I basically said, screw this broker, because if he doesn't have our back, we don't need him. We want people that will stick with us thick and thin. We're here long term. We're here for the long haul. And we're here to protect you and make sure you have a future with this company. And morale and productivity over the coming weeks, just incredible. We had conversations with people that wouldn't open up. We're not engaging. Now they are engaging. They're part of the company. They're part of a team because they know we've been tested and we had his back. And all this employee had to do, and we asked him, we didn't ask for any guarantees. How can you help us? We've got your back, but what can you reassure the rest of the employees that this will not happen again? He volunteered for anger management. And he volunteered to go to AA, even though he didn't have a problem with that. But he needed step-by-step program to deal with his anger. 3 months, I did a 3-month update on the Facebook group, and he was still involved in anger management, and he was still involved in AA. Okay. We turned that negative into a huge positive, and we said, okay, we need your help. Also, you're doing, 3 times what everybody else does. can you help the rest of the team run your production? Because the owner of the company, he was an HVAC guy. And this is a company that was 40 years old. He got to $5 million in 4 years. But the owner of the company would not share any training secrets that he learned with his employees, because his response was, well, if I teach them, they're just going to leave and start their own business. So I'm not going to train them. Right? Then I thought, well, what if they stay? Right? What if they stay and their production levels is, half of what they should be? Right? So we used this opportunity. So the owner didn't want to be involved in training. So we used this top producer to say, okay, will you take on leadership role in the training department? We will create a training department around you. Will you lead that department? To me, that was a no-brainer. He was all aboard. He knew how enthusiastic the rest of the employees, and there was so much bickering and backstabbing and so on. But this got us over that. So we turned a huge negative into a huge positive. Questions, comments? And I want to respect people's time. We've got 2 minutes.
What was the consensus on when you asked everybody about what they should do about the guy? Was it to
At
get
the
rid of?
beginning, a lot of them wanted him fired because he was not very friendly. He was not outgoing. He did not share any tips. He did not help other people. He was an individual. He was not part of the team. And I wanted to use that to create a team. Right? And, we brought in profit sharing plan and, and even though this company was losing a shit ton of money, and this company is going to serve as another case study. They were losing a shit ton of money. Actually, when I came on board, they were doing $5 million, but they were losing $1,125 for every furnace they installed. Okay. So here's a question for you. I don't want you to answer now. Can a company losing money install a profit sharing plan? I want you guys to think about that. And I'm going to ask that question again next week. Okay. I appreciate everybody's time. Have a good night. We'll talk again next week.
Leo, I'll talk to you tomorrow evening.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Already got it scheduled.
Michelle, everybody else, please, you have my calendar link. Let's schedule a meeting. Arturo, let's get you off that pay-per-click campaign. Let's get you doing videos. Oh shit, I didn't even talk about the strategy. Sorry, give me 30 seconds. I'm going to share my screen because this is part of your homework assignment. What I want to talk about is duets and stitches. All these are duets and stitches. 964 views, 300 views, 700 views, 5,000 views, 4,000 views, and so on. I did not say a word on any of these. Now, of course, my face does appear on some of them, but you don't have to do that, right? You can do it and keep your face off if you're really that shy. And this is the strategy that I was talking about to get you to 10,000 followers in less than 2 months. I promise you. If you want some hand holding here, I need everyone to have at least 10,000 followers. Use stitching and duets. Practice, please. We'll talk again next week. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.